Hey everyone, it's Dr. Amy Breeze Harper of the Sister Vegan Project, and I want to update you on what I'm doing this evening, February 19th, 2016. I'll be giving a workshop and a talk at Stanford University. And I'm really excited about this year because I've decided to transition from just giving lectures to giving workshops. So why am I doing that? During the past 10 years, I've dedicated most of my time doing research and writing about what the problems are in ethical consumption, for the most part, in the food system, and looking at race, but not in a vacuum, understanding how a racial caste system built on white supremacy has all of these negative effects on all systems, not just the food system, but all systems, and not just looking at race, but how race impacts gender oppression, class oppression, etc. So for me, the next step now is, okay, so we know this information, Dr. Harper, what do we do? So I'm going to admit to you, I don't have all the answers. No one's going to have all the answers, but I wanted to offer starter toolkits to get the ball rolling and to explain to people that you don't actually have to wait for a dedicated guru or a leader or someone with a PhD like me, right? If you don't have one, to get the ball rolling, to be an agent for change or to intervene, that you yourself can do it. But I do understand that most of us, if you spend most of your time in the USA, you understand that there's something wrong, but most likely if you went through the K through 12 educational system and even college, you were not given the tools to know how to intervene and create a better way, a better and more just world. You were just not given the practical tools. And that's done, in my opinion, it's a strategic move by most K through 12 places and colleges that basically want you to believe that you don't have power as an individual to affect change in terms of social justice. So my workshops are going to explain how you can be an ally, how to engage in solidarity, and how to feel not so disempowered as an individual, that there's strength in numbers. And I'm going to acknowledge in these workshops that we're all on different levels. And specifically tonight, I'm going to be talking about how to uproot white fragility. So if you've been following me for a while, I have been talking about, we understand systemic racism as a problem. Most people of color get it. We have to get it because we live in a society where from the get-go that, we experience racism and other forms of oppression in this racial caste system. So we have to understand, we have to develop those literacy tools to survive through it. But the flip side of that is that if you're a white racialized subject, just to be racialized and socialized into whiteness usually means you've been told that, at least in this generation, this 21st century, that race is no longer a significant impediment to happiness, equity, equality. It's a thing of the past. You don't have to worry about it. It doesn't matter. This is a neoliberal economy and way of doing things. It's a meritocracy. And, if you just work really hard, then you can achieve anything. So that makes sense that you're not going to have the tools to understand how systemic racism operates. You're not going to understand that you have white privilege, that you are privileged in a white racial caste system, whether you are racist or not. And this is really focused on those who consider themselves non-racist. So this workshop is going to look at this thing called white fragility, where with the collectivity of most white people who really do think that they are non-racist, this workshop is going to break down white fragility, which is, why is it when people of color try to talk to most white people, good-hearted white people, about the realities of racial oppression in the USA, why there's usually, there's anger, there's shame, there's resentment, there's just a lot of negative responses to the possibility that, oh my gosh, I thought I was a good white person, but I may actually be complicit in this. A lot of times there's no response at all except for silence, or I'm just going to be neutral. And remember, silence and neutrality basically is collusion with the system. So this workshop I'm giving is Uprooting White Fragility in the PostRacial Ethical Foodscape, and helping people just understand the definitions, the concepts, and then understanding not necessarily conscious bias, but how unconscious bias shapes what you think is the ethical foodscape. So when I say foodscape, it's how social relations play out in the food system, how food is grown, how we consume food. So how those relations, how the food system, how us as people in the food commodity chain, how does the ethical foodscape, how is it shaped by this white racial caste system? And why is it collectively white liberal people have this white fragility response when we ask them to engage in how significant the racial caste system has been on creating even the ethical foodscape, even things like veganism, which is supposed to be cruelty-free, locavorism, if you're somebody who practices an omnivorous diet. Your intention is to create this ethical food system, this ethical foodscape. But if it's within the system, the white racial caste system, and you're not actively trying to dismantle it, or you have this response where, well, I'm not racist, I'm not part of this, so I don't have to engage in it. This workshop is going to help with that, along with understanding why and how people of color are doing the work they are doing, and that they're completely aware that there is no post-racial ethical foodscape. It's a racial foodscape, and it's hardly ethical. So this workshop will get you those tools, starter toolkit to understand what to do, how to intervene. Now remember, the change is not going to happen overnight, but these are the tools that will help put you on the right path, hopefully, to build those skills of becoming an ally, dismantling this system, and really creating a more just world and a real ethical foodscape. So yeah, that's what we're going to do tonight. It's the first one of its kind. Stanford University from 6 o'clock till 8 p.m. And it's the workshop and then a lecture I'll be giving. And it's going to take place at the Black Community Services building, and it's going to be in the Community Services room in that building. So yay! And if you can't make it and you would like me to give a workshop and a lecture about uprooting white fragility and the post-racial ethical foodscape, then you can email me at the address that you see right there. Take care.